not sure why he would do that. He's well aware that in order to deal with the mutas, Horst is going to have to get blink stalkers. And banelings are not effective against stalkers whatsoever. Excuse me while I take a drink. It takes like 6 banelings to kill 1 stalker. So, you know, it's really not worth it. Unless you can soften them all up at once with some lings, get surround on them, and then dump the banelings in to finish them all off, it's really not worth it. But we are pumping out a shitload. Excuse my Spanish, and then I have to apologize to Spanish people for dirtying their language. However, the muta are coming out in great numbers now, and, you know, Ling Muta, that was back in the early StarCraft 2 days. That was the potent force against Protoss, because it was really hard to deal with. People have started to figure it out now, but it is scary. And yeah, now Horst is going to be forcing Dhalism to multitask. Dhalism still has no idea this is here, and he could really rip it apart if he found out. These DTs, they're in the base. They're going to be killing this hatchery, which is huge, morphing in that Overseer, just like I said. But already, that is paid for itself. That has stopped the mining at the Zerg base. Let's see where he goes with these drones. If he goes to the expansion, he might reveal that it exists. And he's going to try to deny this 3rd, I guess it would be the 4th, but it's going to go down. And wow, not even canceling it. Did he cancel it? He didn't cancel it because he didn't get that drone back. So that was huge, and it looks like these DTs are going to get away because they are faster than the Overseer. Wow. That was awesome. Horst, that was beautiful. Thank you for showing me that. And here come the Muta again. They're coming back into the top base. Horst is going to lose more pylons. He's got to keep on top of his supply. He's now supply blocked. So Horst blinking in, doing some great damage to those Muta. And the Muta are going to pull away, but they still aren't going to find this base. And it looks like Horst is smartening up. He's getting cannons back there because this is his only expansion, you know, other than these two. But once these are mined out, it's going to be really hard for him to take another 3rd against the Zerg player, because the Zerg player is really starting to spread across the map, forcing the Zerg player to spend another 600 minerals on 2 more hatcheries. And that's really going to cost him because he couldn't mine. And that's going to force him to really strip mine this real fast. However, it looks like he transferred a lot of stuff over here. He's getting spore crawlers, so great play by Dhalism, you know, getting that detection. And here come the mutas in here. The cannons are going to go down to the great muta count. A couple stalkers going down too, pulling them into the other cannons. Stalkers meeting up with this force, blinking under the muta, doing huge amounts of damage to that muta ball. But they don't have any shield or armor upgrades. I thought they did. Carapace, I should say. But yeah, no, that was expensive, I think, for Dhalism. Not getting that much. You got a few stalkers, which, you know, they're not cheap. They're cheap, but I mean, it's a Protoss unit. They're not cheap at all. And so yeah, but Muta aren't cheap either. And you know, gas is really the determining resource. Minerals are a dime a dozen, but gas is so hard to come across in StarCraft 2. And just wow. So the banelings are out in great number, but like I said, why? I guess the combined splash damage from the Muta and the banelings is going to do interesting things to this Stalker Ball, but they do have Blink, so they could easily kite those banelings. And I don't know how well that they're going to work for him, especially if he has to engage off of creep. I mean, if he's going to sit here on the creep, that gives Horst a huge advantage. And taking another base over here in the bottom left from Dhalism. And Horst has got to take another, and he does, doing the exact same thing as Dhalism. So, you know, these players are really starting to think alike. There's a DT here. They're going to start taking out banelings, and here comes the Overseer finally. And wow, Horst just knows it's coming. Oh, but there it goes down. Trying to lure him back to the army. I want to see Blink from those Stalkers. Come on, Horst. Force Field instead. There's the Blink. Really forcing those banelings to go the long way around. But like I said, so many banelings went into killing just a handful of Stalkers. And, oh, God. That really put Dhalism behind. And he's going to lose his Overseer. He's going to have to morph in more if he wants to stop any kind of DT play. You know, that's more resources that Dhalism is forced to spend that he doesn't want to. I really wish Horst would scout this base, because if he could take this out, that would put Dhalism in such a bad place. The Blinkstalkers give Horst great mobility. It looks like his whole army is just Blinkstalkers. We're getting some High Templar back here, and you know, this is how you have to do it now, is storing up energy, trying to get Storm. Storm is researching, so yeah, great thing. Warp in those Templar before Storm finishes, and by the time it does finish, you know, you'll have that energy that you need now that the amulet is gone. So we are seeing armor on the ground, carapace level 3, weapons level 3, and just ultralisks. So that seems like it was the plan all along, because he has been pumping those weapons upgrades out like mad. But I don't know if ultralisks is the right choice against Blinkstalkers, especially if Horst starts to spit out observers with a Robo-Bay. You just start getting those immortals and use the observers to really take advantage of the high ground and kite, you know, ultralisks all day long. Here comes the big Zerg ball, still trying to take out this base, but I mean, really, he could run into this base and do some huge damage, but he's going to try to engage this. I missed how valuable those storms were to Horst, but it still looks like there's a lot of Zerg units here, and I think that's what he's going to do here. Horst needs to warp in some units to block off this choke so his army can get in there, but the Lings are going to get in. Oh, what is Dhalism doing? I think he should really just run by, not even try to hit this, but taking out that forge before the upgrade can finish, taking out the second forge before that upgrade can finish. He needs to come and kill that Nexus, but units warping in for Horst, all going to go down to the Baneling. Zealots was a bad choice, trying to take out the Templar Archive. 3 Overseers here, and Mutas coming in to finish that Archive off. But Mutas do not do damage to buildings very quickly. They're going to stick around and try to finish it off. They get it down, but he's going to lose a lot of Mutas to the Blinkstalkers. All of his Muta, because he got greedy and tried to take out that Archive. But the nature of the Zerg is being able to max up fast. And finally, Horst is including Archons in his build. And we have Ultralisks out now. So those Mutalisks were old news. Dhalism does not need them anymore, and this is the new thing. This is the new tech for Dhalism, and that is the huge tech switch that Zerg is capable of. It's what makes them scary as hell, because, you know, you hard counter them 1 second, you take out their army, and by the time you can get to their base to counterattack, look at this, freaking 4 tier 3 units at their door. You know, if they've got the resources, which he does, it can be even more. At this point, it's just a matter of supply. He does not have the supply left over to produce any more Ultralisks, but here they come. Look at that huge tier 3 army already, and good control by Dhalism, choosing which hatchery they were coming out of. I watched a game with Idra where all his hatcheries were on the same base, or on the same hotkey, and you know, a lot of the time, the units that were spawning at hatcheries that were getting attacked, and he was just losing the units as soon as they came out. So that's not what you want to do. Dhalism being very clever, you know, collecting his tier 3 at this location so that none of them get killed as soon as they spawn. So very good. And Dhalism is going to lose both of these bases, and that's really, really, really game-breaking. And I really think Dhalism needs to push this base now that Horst isn't there. And I mean, he could just take his Lings, that's all he needs. There's a lot of photon cannons there, but the Lings with the surround and just the pure count, plus the 3/3 upgrades on them, that would be enough, I think. So 3/3, and getting flyer weapons too. I'm not sure what tech path he's going to choose here. Taking an Expo here and here to try and get himself back in this game. This Expo is extremely close to this, and the Protoss player could definitely start putting pylons here and warping into the low ground. Horst choosing to exit through here, maybe. No, because he wants his Archons too. Going to engage. This is terrible. He is trapped in a corner. The Archons are just going to be meat shields at this point. These Stalkers should definitely have stayed on the low ground to do as much damage as they can, but Horst opts to retreat. He could have done so much more damage if he left his Stalkers on the low ground to fire back, because these are all melee units. None of them would have been able to fight back. A couple changelings in the army, which is kind of amusing to me. I'm not sure why he chose to do that. But yeah, no, Horst lost a lot there, and I don't think it was worth it. He could have controlled that better, but he's pulling back to his cannons. However, Dhalism may choose to go for this natural again, although he's lining it with photon cannons to make sure nothing can get in. And Zealots here, once again, I don't think Zealots are the right choice. He's got enough cannons to really deal with those Lings. Stalkers with Blink can really use their ability to kite them as well. If you use single target blink back micro, which I talk about in a lot of my videos, such a great way to play Protoss. And this army is going to push up into this impenetrable wall. There's no way that those Ultralists are getting through there. They're going to take far too much damage trying. Horst does need to focus fire with his cannons though. And the Stalkers are here, going to clean this up. Horst needs to use his blink to get on the high ground, but he's not going to because the blink cooldown is not yet done. Storms on the Ultralisks, not the Mutalisks, and doing a lot of damage to the